Epic Universe hasn't even opened yet, and we already have confirmation on Universal's next biggest theme park. Hello everybody, welcome. Universal just revealed their newest theme park, and we've already got tons of information on what lands and attractions that we can expect. Universal's Epic Universe is an absolute triumph. I have had the fortune of being able to visit that amazing park, and it is absolutely spectacular. If you are interested in knowing more about Epic Universe and getting a sneak preview, be sure to check out my videos on Epic Universe right below. It is an absolutely amazing park. You do not want to miss it, and if you haven't booked your trip for it, you gotta book it now. But Universal is not letting off the gas. They are absolutely not okay with just status quo. They are pushing and pushing and pushing the entire theme park industry across the world to be better. First, we know that there's the Universal Kids Resort that's coming to Frisco, Texas. One of their very next parks that they are opening up. I did an entire video on the Universal Kids Resort. I will also link to that below. It has all sorts of details on what is confirmed to be coming to that amazing new park. We also have Universal Horror Unleashed, the brand new year-round horror haunted house venue. This is Halloween Horror Nights 365 days a year, and it is coming to Las Vegas, Nevada. And now we have confirmation of a brand new theme park, the size of which is Epic Universe or bigger, coming to the United Kingdom. This will be Europe's first Universal park. Now, we've been talking about this park and speculating in a few different videos. We've been talking about how big it is, where it's going to be, what could be coming to that park, and it's now finally been confirmed by Universal themselves. Let's start off talking about the size of this brand new park. Universal UK is 476 acres. Just so you can compare that with the existing parks today, Epic Universe is only about 110 acres total. Now, if you include all of the surrounding areas of Epic Universe, the expansion pads, the locations where the hotels are, the parking lot where City Walk 2.0 could potentially be, and Epic Universe 2.0, all of that is around 750 acres, and they haven't even built on most of that land. But Epic Universe itself, 110 acres. This new park, this area that they've purchased in the United Kingdom, 476 acres. So you can see they can do a ton with this space. In addition, they have recently applied for a trademark for Universal Studios United Kingdom. So that is most likely going to be the name of this park in some fashion. They also just recently filed a trademark for Halloween Horror Nights in the UK, which means we will most likely be getting Halloween Horror Nights over in this brand new park. Now, the main visual that we have with this park through the announcement is this concept art. This is what we are going to be referring to during most of this video, and we're going to do a lot of speculation on what these different lands could be. First, right in the bottom right-hand corner of this concept art, you've got the amazing entry, and of course you've got the Universal ball there spinning over what looks like water to me. You've got the security entry. It looks like the security entry might be even before the Universal Studios ball. You've probably got some administrative buildings, guest services on the right and on the left, and different things. Then you have that amazing iconic archway that you walk through to get into Universal Studios. Now, that could also be where the security is. We can't really tell from this, but already the entrance looks really cool, and they're definitely setting this up almost like a Main Street USA. As you go into the park, you've got all these buildings lining left and right, a nice little fountain there in the center as you walk in. I just think this is going to be a really nice visual effect when you kind of step into this brand new park. And right away you'll notice on the left there of the entrance, once you get into the park, there is a hotel located there. This will be very similar to what they did with Helios Grand at Epic Universe, having a hotel looking directly into the park, private entry from the hotel into the park. I just think this is an awesome move for them. I'm a big fan of putting hotels into the theme parks, giving you that proximity of being able to go directly into the park without having to take any transportation to get there. I think this is a smart move by Universal, and the hotel looks huge. It looks pretty cool. We can't really tell the theming of the hotel, what it will be, but it looks absolutely massive. Now, lining the left and right of this main street, you can definitely see stores and shops, and I'm assuming restaurants and things that are going to be lining both sides. But over directly across the way from the hotel, it looks like there's some sort of like theater, like old, like cinema, almost maybe Art Deco style, I can't really tell, but some sort of like theater entrance. This could just be a visual facade for a storefront, or it could potentially be the entrance for a dark ride or show of some kind. It could literally be like a show building with sort of that cinema marquee on the front. As you can see directly behind that cinema marquee there is a giant building, which very easily could be a show or a dark ride. However, that may not be the entrance to that dark ride or that show building at all. Because if you follow the path up that main street there, you have that nice little like visual there in front of that giant body of water, which I am a big fan of this. I just think Universal continues to keep that like central body of water in all of their parks. You've got it at Universal Studios, you've got it at Islands of Adventure, you now have it at Epic Universe, and that water and all of that landscaping just, it really makes a huge difference in the sight lines, in the visual, in just everything from the whimsy to the fantasy. It allows you to do so much, and I just love the fact that they keep doing this. So as you hook around to the right there from that main street entrance, and then you see a little building, let's zoom in a little bit, and you can kind of see the style of this building here right up on the waterfront. Reminds me very much of Amity Island. It really gives me like Jaws boathouse type feel. It very much reminds me of Universal Studios in Orlando, that whole section there with Bruce and Jaws and the old buildings that they've sort of kept once they got rid of Amity Island and they went with Diagon Alley. They replaced the Jaws ride, but that area really does give me that like vibe. It could just be a restaurant there, I'm sure it is, but I just feel like that is giving me Jaws vibes. And why that's important is because right across the street from that building is what looks to me like potentially an entrance to an attraction. Right away you can see sort of like a little circle with a little body of water around it, and it's and then behind that you can see what looks to me like a building facade that could potentially be the entrance into that show building or dark ride that I was just talking about. So it could be off of Main Street there, or it could be right around here to around this hook where this sort of like Jaws sort of section is, which could be telling us that that dark ride there or show might be Jaws. Could they be bringing the Jaws IP back into a theme park? I'm telling you, if that is it, I am gonna lose my mind. I was sick when they got rid of Jaws at Universal Studios Orlando. I love that attraction. I know it's old school, but and we did get Diagon Alley, so I can't really complain that much because Jaws ride versus Diagon Alley, I think Diagon Alley wins that battle. But to think about potentially getting a new Jaws ride, a reincarnated version of it, potentially inside in a dark ride, that could be absolutely awesome. Now, we don't really know what it is. There's no way to tell other than these cues that we're getting. Looks like to me there's like a statue right in the front there. And what's interesting is when I zoom in, so this is a 4K graphic that I got a hold of, this 4K concept art. So we can zoom in. This is like the best resolution you're gonna find. And I can zoom in on this thing. And this thing looks hand painted almost. I don't know if it is, but you can see sort of like almost like brush strokes, if you will, on this like concept art. But what's interesting to me as I zoom in on this like structure here, this like statue or whatever it is, it looks all pixelated and blurry to me. Almost like they purposely blurred that out, making me feel like whatever that statue is like some sort of like dead giveaway as to what this attraction is. So to me, that's giving me vibes of like this is an attraction and this is the entrance into that show building. Because why would they hide that? If it was, I mean, it's got to be something very recognizable and it's giving away something. So could very well be Jaws, and I couldn't be, like, I would be so pumped if that was the case. I don't know, let me know what you think. If you see something in this concept art that I don't see, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Put it down in the comments, let's talk, let's speculate. I'd totally give you credit if you nail it. Now let's move back over to the left side. We're gonna go through the main street and head around to the left, and there's what looks to me like very clearly a kids area. I'm getting Dreamworks vibe from this. This looks to me like a sort of amalgamation of different Dreamworks properties, most likely. Could be Puss in Boots, could be Shrek, Could be Trolls, a lot of the different IPs. I'm getting like Dreamworks land vibes from this section here. You've got like this little like carnival type ride there with the blue and reds. You've got some sort of thing that, I don't know, the green thing that kind of looks like a bowl of soup to me. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's like a Mad Hatter's teacup spinner or something. I can't really tell. The thing with the pink thing that looks like, I don't know, a big pink cup or something. That could very well be some sort of like DreamWorks playground area. In the back of the park there, you see sort of like a bigger building that could very well be some sort of like show or dark ride attraction. We don't get to see the front of that building, so I have no idea what it is, but I can see some little things like jutting up, maybe some wood facade, so it could be like Kung Fu Panda, I'm not sure, but to me this feels like DreamWorks land. That's what I'm betting on. Now let's go up a little bit further up the left side and let's talk about the one that has me the most amped if this comes true. Because I look at this area and it runs right into like this amphitheater. No idea what the amphitheater is going to be. Could have nothing related whatsoever to that area. Could just be they wanted an amphitheater on the water so they could have concerts and fireworks shows or water shows. I'm not sure. Could not be related to the land at all, or it could be some sort of clue as to what this space is. But if I take the amphitheater out of the equation and I look at the land itself, it's definitely laid out in like a square, very clearly a square. And in the middle of the square is a bunch of trees, so we'll talk about that in a second. But as you can see, some of the facades of the buildings there's like a green little section, like a reddish section or pink section, and it looks to me almost like a town square. When I think of a town square, I immediately think of Hill Valley, Back to the Future. Could this be a Back to the Future area? Now, obviously, Hill Valley, if you know anything, there is a backlot tour of Hill Valley from the movies and things. You can tell there are trees in that sort of square there, but it is also fairly open. There's park, benches and concrete and things like that. That could very well be hidden under those trees. It could be they just put a bunch of trees in that space to hide it. Otherwise, it would be super obvious what this thing is. Kind of like how they blurred out whatever that thing is over by Jaws. It could just be that, or it could be this is just a big bunch of trees in the middle and it has nothing to do with Hill Valley at all. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say I'm getting Hill Valley vibes. I'm getting Back to the Future. And there's another reason for that. Let's look at the roller coaster. Obviously, there is giant buildings here. There could be dark rides in here. There could be shows. But you can clearly see the roller coaster is coming out of one of those buildings, which could mean there's some interior parts to the roller coaster, which sounds really cool to me. Maybe not, could just be that's where the launch is, but either way, you're launching from inside that building there. And this roller coaster does not look like it's for the faint of heart. This looks like a fast and crazy roller coaster. But here's the thing, let's zoom in on the roller coaster cars themselves. If we zoom in on the cars, what we can see, to me, I see like a little like green and little pink, like dabs of color. And I don't know about you, but that's definitely giving me like hoverboard, the pink, the sort of like 80s, almost like pink and greens that were very popular, retro style, but futuristic, Back to the Future colors. I'm definitely getting like 1985. The pink and the green and the blue all together. I don't know, man. I'm telling you, this could be Back to the Future. It looks like side-by-side coasters right next to each other, like 2x2. It's an over-the-top coaster. It's not a hanging coaster as far as I can tell. I don't know. This could be a Back to the Future roller coaster. Fast and Furious is also another obvious choice. Definitely feels like a cityscape or townscape of some kind, driving through the streets of Hollywood, LA, I don't know, some different locations. Could be something like Fast and Furious. You could see it fitting there with that sort of like square there. Also could be Transformers, maybe. There is a Transformers land at one of the Universal parks. It doesn't look very Transformer-y to me. But it is possible, could be Transformers. But again, my leading speculation there is Back to the Future. Now let's move up a little bit further to what is clearly like the biggest part of the land. To me, this is like, I think this area looks like it's about half of the entire park. And it is clearly, very obviously, Jurassic World, like no doubt. Like Jurassic World is definitely the anchor IP, and I'll talk about that a little bit later as to I've done this I talked about it in previous videos how a UK park will need an anchor land, something that is going to draw crowds, it's going to draw people in. Speculated, would it be Harry Potter? Speculated, would it be Lord of the Rings? I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. It looks to me like Jurassic World might be that anchor IP property. Right when you go in there, you can see the pavement changes colors. You're starting to see it looks like more tropical plants, palm trees, things like that. You're seeing those patented, telltale, round, sort of like thatch looking roofs on the top that look exactly like all the other Jurassic areas in all the parks. As you go up further over to the left, you're seeing a little bit of water features. I think that's probably just a water feature. I don't think that's a water attraction. It could be some sort of water, but I don't feel like it is, just because it rains a lot in the UK and it's cold a lot in the UK, so I don't know how often you would want to get wet, but hey, I don't know, maybe. A lot of people like to get wet when I feel like it's too cold here in Florida. But there's very clearly what looks to me like 2 drop towers. I'm definitely getting Dr. Doom's free fall there in Universal Islands of Adventure, but some sort of what looks like drop towers. Could it be some sort of slingshot thing? Maybe, but it looks like a drop tower to me. It looks like 2 drop towers or launch towers, probably similar to Dr. Doom. Right in front of those, I'm seeing what looks to me like a kids area. I'm thinking Camp Jurassic. Camp Jurassic is awesome. Best play area in any theme park, in my opinion. The only one that maybe even came close was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids play area, which they got rid of. I don't know why, because that rocked. But there looks to me like some sort of Camp Jurassic. I'm gonna bet that's what it is. Now let's move back over into this cool water feature in the front that leads out of that sort of central area, and this huge, massive structure, which clearly I'm looking at it and thinking, this is the Universal Beijing Jurassic World attraction. That is one of the best attractions on the planet. We've talked about it a lot in the Epic Universe videos. I've talked about how it is basically like a Spider-Man type ride using like a scoop vehicle system, except on steroids. The T-Rex and the Indominus Rex basically come out. It's a trackless, so that they come out and actually chase your vehicle at one point. It seamlessly blends screens with real world animatronics. We're seeing a lot of that same technology being used in the Ministry of Magic, the Battle with the Ministry at Epic Universe, and the Monsters Unchained Frankenstein experiment. I think we're going to get a copy or something very similar to the Universal Beijing Jurassic World attraction. That ride is just amazing. Now as we move over further to the right, again, more buildings. I'm thinking restaurants. I'm thinking could be another like indoor attraction of some kind, smaller attraction, maybe a kids ride or kids attractions in one of those buildings. Obviously shopping, food, and then you have this giant green roller coaster, which immediately just gives me Hulk vibes, like a B&M roller coaster of some kind. But I'm guessing this is some sort of crazy, it looks literally like a awesome, like super fast, top level roller coaster. I'm thinking Velocicoaster of some kind, a spiritual successor to Velocicoaster. Probably not called Velocicoaster. It's green, it's not gray like Velocicoaster is, but I think this is going to be this park's Velocicoaster. Now, right in the top right-hand corner, this is the thing that's confusing me the most. I only have 2 things that I feel like this thing could be. One, it's the Jurassic World Mosasaurus feeding show. That's in the Jurassic World movies. I don't know how in the world they would do that. I don't know how that would even make sense. There's explosions happening there. I don't remember there being any explosions in the Mosasaurus feeding thing in Jurassic World. But it's so close to the Jurassic area that I'm like, you gotta kind of factor that in and speculate it could be something like that. I mean, at one point there is like a helicopter thing. Maybe the helicopter crashes in the water. I don't know. Hopefully we don't see that poor girl get eaten unnecessarily like in the movie. But it could be something like that. But my money, it looks to me like the Waterworld show. I mean, I don't know how it's not the Waterworld show. That show is so popular. It's one of the most amazing shows ever made. And I don't know how you don't do that. I mean, that's an old IP. I actually like Waterworld. okay? I'm an unpopular opinion. I like the movie. I like Kevin Costner, whatever. I grew up in that age back when Kevin Costner was super popular, you know, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Waterworld. I like the movie, whatever. But the show, I think everybody universally thinks that show is amazing. They've replicated it in different places. It's still very popular, always full. It's a safe bet this is a Waterworld show. I don't know why. I don't know how it fits there in the space and the theming. It doesn't really fit anywhere, but my money's on that. Now we're moving out of Jurassic World area. You can see the pavement starts to change colors. It goes from sort of that orange there right under the green Velocicoaster type coaster into like this yellow palette. And then there is suddenly this like gray, pinkish, I can't tell what color that is, pavement that goes up towards this two giant buildings. And this first building, if we zoom in, it's kind of got this like, I don't know, like old church like vibe, or I don't even know, like a Munchkin Town vibe with these little like this little spire, and only a small amount of this building is like visible, and then everything else is hidden. And in front of it is these like pink rocks and some green stuff. I don't know. I'm getting Wicked vibes from this. Like, I don't see the yellow brick road, but I definitely am getting, this could be like a Wicked attraction. We've confirmed, we talked about this in another video where we said they are definitely wanting to bring Wicked attractions and maybe even a Wicked land to their theme parks. This could be the first incarnation of a Wicked attraction. This could be it. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't tell. There's like nothing to go on, but like, that's a high possibility. A couple of other things it could be a Shrek ride. It does kind of give a little bit of Shrek vibes to it. Could be some sort of Shrek dark attraction. I don't know. Could be dark universe, classic monsters. Maybe. We talked about Halloween Horror Nights potentially coming to this park since they've trademarked it. Maybe they want to have some kind of spooky, scary stuff in there. Maybe Dark Universe. Seems pretty small to me though. If you're going to do something with Dark Universe, doesn't even seem to have like a portal. I don't really see like any grand entry into this area. It just almost feels like a one-off attraction. Unless like that building is the entrance into a Dark Universe of stuff in there. Or maybe a Wicked area of stuff. Maybe that's where the yellow brick road is, inside the building. I don't really know. Could it be Harry Potter? I don't think so. I'm not getting that vibe. Could it be Lord of the Rings? I'm not getting that vibe either. I'll talk more about Lord of the Rings in a little bit. And then there's this giant show building behind that building. And we literally have no information about that. There's like no building facade, no nothing that we can even look at. Could this just be like a back of the house? I guess so, but why would you put back of the house stuff in your concept art? Disney's done that a couple of times and people basically like roasted them for it. Like, you're supposed to hide back of the house stuff or weird stuff from your concept art. Just put trees there. So I don't feel like this is a back of the house. I feel like this is a building that's going to be used for something. Could be an extension to this, but it does have a different colored pavement out front. So it could be something totally different. Could it be a Lord of the Rings building that you go into and then there's a bunch of cool stuff in there? Could it be some sort of Dark Universe thing where you go in and everything is in the dark and there's just a bunch of stuff in there? Could be. It's a huge building. You can do a lot of stuff in there. But again, we just don't know. Now let's move down into our final land, which is very clearly to me Minions. This is a Minions land. I don't know how it's not a Minions land. Zooming in on it, I mean, there's like a little structure there right in the front, right by that first building to me that looks almost identical to the sort of like Minions little statue there that's at Universal. It's got like this blue Minions sort of thing, and then it's got little yellow Minion guys hanging on top of it. That's what it looks like to me. Like, it looks like a straight copy of that. So I'm thinking this is a Minions entrance here. You've got a bunch of like building structures. That's how they're trying to do that in different places, building like a Minions town almost. Despicable Me area. I don't know what's going to be in these buildings. Probably dark rides. Hopefully we get something better than like Despicable Me. So lots of stuff on the outside all the way around this thing. You've got these little like purple and like orange roofs and lots of like peaks and things. Some pink areas. I'm thinking I can hear it's so fluffy. I can hear it's so fluffy because of those pink buildings. That's what's in my mind. So it could be candy stores. And then the center area, you see this roller coaster, this like light or green or yellow or whatever color that is roller coaster, which at first glance, it kind of looks like, ooh, there's another roller coaster here. But the way the like support beams are, it just kind of looks like a fake roller coaster. I don't really see, it doesn't feel to me like a real roller coaster, but it very much could be. It could potentially be a real roller coaster, obviously like a kiddie version of the roller coaster, but it looks more to me like it's a visual effect of a roller coaster on top of a large like tented type building or structure where there are a lot of things in the building. So a lot of like carnival type game rides or games, Minions things, and the roller coaster on top is just a visual effect and it's not a functional roller coaster. Or it could be both. It could be this is underneath is a bunch of stuff and then there's a roller coaster on top of the building. That's definitely possible too. But if you look at Universal Beijing, they have pretty much this exact same structure. They have a building. It's got things like the Loop-de-Doop-de inside of it, which is an attraction. It's got the Super Swirly in there, some sort of like fun land. It's like a carnival space on the inside, and it has this like fake roller coaster on top. So to me, it kind of looks like a carbon copy of that. But again, it's possible that that could be a real roller coaster. Now, I did an entire video where I talked a lot about Lord of the Rings and why it could potentially be coming to Universal in the United Kingdom. That could be one location where it could be. I'm going to be doing another video here in the very near future talking about Lord of the Rings and what the situation is there, and why we could be getting it in the US. But this was one of the speculated locations. I'm not seeing Lord of the Rings anywhere in this park aside from maybe that one dark building. I just don't know why they would bring Lord of the Rings into one dark building. I feel like it needs its own space and own land to breathe. So I'm kind of hoping they don't get Lord of the Rings in this park just because it doesn't look like it's going to be executed well if it's in this concept art and I'm just not seeing it. So be on the lookout for that video because we're going to talk about where I think it is going to happen. If we do get it, where it will be. I also talked a lot about why Harry Potter most likely isn't coming to Universal UK. It just doesn't make sense. There's whole reasons behind that with Warner Brothers and all the things that are going on there. This would be a competitive offering to that, and that doesn't make a lot of sense. But again, I'm going to talk more about that in future videos, so be on the lookout. So overall, that is the land, that's the space, that's everything that's coming that we know about. Again, a lot of speculation, just looking at what's there, looking at popular IPs. I'm not saying these are the things that are coming, but these are the things that look like they're coming. And I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What do you think there could be in this park? Things I'm missing? What do you want to see? What are you hoping for? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But once again, Universal just not resting on their laurels. Epic Universe not even open yet, and it's just going crazy in previews. People are loving it, and they're just like, you know what? We're gonna do another park, and another park, and another park. They just keep adding stuff. They're just like, we're just gonna keep going. They are absolutely killing it. Love to see this park come to fruition. I think the time frame is maybe 5 years or less out from where this park is going to open. So we got that to look forward to. Anyhow, thanks again for watching. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. Trust me, they want to hear about this stuff. Hopefully, I will see you on opening day at Epic Universe if you watch this video before then. And if you see me, come say hi to me in the parks. Thanks again so much for watching. Until I see you next time, the noble way is the easy way. Bye-bye, everybody.